Hi friends, Simit here from InformedTrades.com. Today is January 6, 2014. Here is the daily charts I'm seeing. This is the daily chart review. Basically in this process, for those who are new to us, this is just our third session doing this. I review the charts as the way I see them. This is my actual trading routine where every morning it occurs, we start at 8 o'clock a.m. New York time, which is 1 p.m. GMT, or 7 p.m. Central Time, where I am in Chicago, United States. I look at the daily charts for about 20 currency pairs and see what trade opportunities there are, what I'm looking at, and maybe share some trades if there are some available. So let's get started. Okay. Just a second while I get the chart set up. Okay. Right now, this is a chart of silver, the weekly chart of silver. That's just relates to a conversation we were having on InformedTrades. Let's start with Euro US dollar, which I have a position on now. As I mentioned, when I'm doing the chart review, I like to start with positions that I currently have on. So I'll put the 50 simple moving average and the 200 exponential moving average, which I always like to do. Okay. Now, actually, with this pair, so if you see the trading chart review that we had on Friday, I entered this on this candle before it was closed. Now, if that, oh, this is the weekly. Let's see. Let's get to the daily chart, which I always look at, trading mainly off the daily. Occasionally, look at the 4 hour or something else. Now, I entered somewhere on this chart, this candle here, based on the pullback that we were seeing. So most likely I entered like right around here, 36.15, which I saw as a support level. Let's draw that. Right there. So you can see the market bounce off of before. You can see it bounce off of here. So on Friday during the day, before this candle fully closed, we were likely hanging around here, and it looked like we were forming a hammer pattern. However, as we went into the close of the New York session, the market really went through. So if I had known that the candle was going to, end up like this, I would have waited. I got a much better entry point if I had entered at all. So that's something to consider. I did think about whether I wanted to wait for the full candle, but I guess I jumped the gun a little too early. So in hindsight, that was a mistake. That is something to consider about when I'm thinking about whether I want to tweak my trading approach and how I would do it next time. But in any event, it looks like now, at least at this point, it may have found the bottom. Let's see what the 4 hour chart is saying. The position is still slightly down. My stop has not been hit. So I'm still in this. I'm probably just not going to do anything. Okay. So maybe this is the bottom. We're looking at the 4 hour chart now. Maybe this is the bottom right here. But we'll see. Either event, my stop has not been hit. Just have a small floating loss going. And I'm risking 1/4%, which is my standard amount to risk. So we'll see what happens. For now, just let that position be. Okay. Now I had also, the next thing, after I look at trades that I have put on, the next thing I like to do is look at charts that I have identified. So there were a number of Swiss franc opportunities I identified, as well as pound New Zealand. So let's start looking at the Swiss franc, particularly Canada CHF. And if you saw our session on Friday, I mentioned these pairs as something I'd look at early next week. Okay, this is interesting. So we see this this candle here. Looks like a classic reversal candle. This candle is not closed yet. Let's just draw our Fibonacci just to see what we... And let's draw it from right here where we really get the breakout down to the low. So we pull back to about the 61.8 level, which is also, if we draw our support right here, right there. Okay, and that's based on this candlestick pattern. Market pull down here, then we saw buyer step in. So now this former support looks like it may be resistance. So this is a trade that I think I'll be entering. I'm going to jot that down. let's see. So we'll enter at 85.34. And let's see. Yeah, the stop will go probably right around here. Okay, so that's about 86. So we're risking about 65 pips, and we'll target here. Oh, target the lows that we were at, which is 65 pips, target 300 gain. So what's that? 82.53. Oh, well, maybe a little less. Okay, so this is probably going to be another 3-to-1 setup, which is my minimum. I will tweak the reward risk to get this down to a 3-to-1 minimum. So maybe I'll move the stop a little further. Maybe I'll move the target a little out. But something to get at least 3-to-1. 65. So that means I need to get at least 195 pips. If I keep my stop here, I need to get at least 195 pips, which would put me at 85.34, 82.30, 82.40. So I would need to go a little bit lower or have the stop. I probably wouldn't want to stop. I don't like generally to move my stop closer. I like to have a nice cushion. So let's see what the weekly chart looks like. Okay. And let's see what this daily chart. Okay. Okay. Well, chances are, what I'm weighing in my mind is, if I can, maybe I will move the stop a little closer here. I'm trying to get it 3-to-1. I think there's a chance that it'll set a new. I'll return to this a little bit later, but right now what I'm leaning towards is having the stop, entering at 85.34, having the stop, or 85.35, let's call it, having the stop at 86, so I'm risking 65 pips, and then targeting just 300 pips lower, which will put me at 82.35, so right around here, which is slightly lower than the recent low we were at, but given the downtrend, I think we'll create new lows. There wasn't a clear resistance level to target aside from this one, or excuse me, a support level to target aside from this one. But I think that's a reasonable target, which will give me slightly better than a 3-to-1 reward risk. And I'll post this trade on my blog on InformedTrades as I place it. Okay, so that's our first trade today. And okay, just jotting that down. Now, the other pair I had identified on Friday, pound New Zealand, pound Kiwi. Okay, here again, well, let's see. Let's draw some support levels. We may need a further pullback, right? It looks like I might prefer to see a pullback to here. And let's draw a trend line. Normally, I don't place too much emphasis on trend lines, but just it might be a useful exercise here. Okay, that's a tentative trend line. Let's see if we can get something else. Okay, so either way, I think I would really like to see a pullback to 96.44 before trying anything. Now let's see Fibonacci retracement from the breakout. So we had a breakout here, right here, to the recent highs. Now this is, so we are at the 61.8 Fibonacci level, but this is, I prefer to use Fibonacci when the range is, or when the trend is either stronger, meaning there's less choppiness here, or the range is longer. So I prefer to draw it from here, for instance. Let's see what that would yield us. If I were to draw it from this swing low, all the way to this swing high. What's going on here? So that puts us, yeah, right, even lower. So I just don't think it's time yet for pound Kiwi. Maybe we'll continue falling, and if we do, that might be an interesting opportunity to continue keeping an eye on. But at least based on today, where we currently stand, that's not something that I'm that interested in. Okay, so now that we've looked at the pairs, we looked at the current trades I have on. We've looked at the pairs that I identified on Friday as potential opportunities that were shaping up. And pound Kiwi, I'll add to that list for tomorrow, or keep on that list rather. Now we can just go down the pairs, starting with the euro. Euro Australian dollar. Okay, probably need more of a pullback. We are seeing some, and we're seeing some support, it looks like. But I probably would want to see a pullback to here. Yeah. For those who have been following along, so horizontal support and resistance levels are very important to me. I generally like to see that, see the price at that before trading. We're putting on a trade. So let's see if we get a little more of a pullback. Euro Canadian dollar. Okay, this is interesting. Okay. And let's see, Fibonacci. Let's try drawing it from here. Okay, that's interesting. So we have had a decent pullback. And this will be an opportunity I enter. Euro Canadian dollar. I missed this. I had an entry after this candle. I had an entry order right here, 39.49, which did not get filled, right? But then it did take off. So, but this time the opportunity has appeared again. We went all the way up. We had a pullback, and we're seeing. Looks like the market is finding some support. Let's actually switch to a 4-hour chart. Yeah. Okay. So let's see if we get a pullback. Euro Canadian dollar. So after I put this trade on, I probably wouldn't want to put on, because I'll be putting on a Canadian Swiss pair, and I'll be going short Canada Swiss and long Euro Canada. So in both instances, I'm short the Canadian dollar. So I probably, just for diversification purposes, I would not want any other trades involving the Canadian dollar. Now I may look at some other Canadian dollar charts in the process here, because there may be a setup that I prefer technically, where I think it's just I'm able to have a tighter stop or justify having a tighter stop, for instance. But the basic idea is that I won't be placing more than 2 trades on the Canadian dollar. So for now, it's going to be Canada Swiss and Euro Canadian dollar. But I'll also look at Aussie Swiss and see if that opportunity is there. But the basic idea is I don't want 2 trades on the same currency. More than 0.5% risked on the same currency. Okay, so what am I doing here? I need to add the stop level, which I would put, let's say, here. Maybe I'll move that tighter. Let's see what it ends up being when I do the reward risk. Okay. And let's get that green. And let's get this red. Okay, so we are risking about 44.21, 43.26, 95 pips. So basically about 100, so we need at least 300, and we're going to get that. So this is more than 3 to 1. Perfect. So this is our second trade I'll be taking today, Euro Canada. And like I said, let's look at the other Canada pairs and see what other opportunities there are. Because there may be better setups, there may be a different reward risk pairing. But I definitely don't want more than 0.5% risked on any given currency. So looks like there's some opportunities to short Canadian dollar that I'm seeing. I don't want to risk that more than 0.5% even with other pairs. Okay. Euro pound. I just exited a trade here. I'm going to need to see more of a pullback before I enter. Okay, euro yen. Yeah, still need more of a pullback. You know, in a situation like this where there's no clear, let's actually see what the weekly chart. There's no clear. We're going to see this a lot on the yen. We saw it last week, right? There's no real resistance or support, excuse me. So, you know, we can, not on the daily chart, on the weekly chart, if we go back to 2009, oh, that did not. You could argue here. And that's probably what I want. So I'd still need to see 400 pips drop before I can even really think about entering. This is a weekly chart. To put that in the perspective of the daily chart, you can see that. We still got some ways to go, basically. Okay. That was Euro Yen. Now we look at Euro New Zealand. Okay. Is this something interesting? Okay. Euro New Zealand is something I'm going to be adding to the watch list. I just would like to see a little more of a pullback. And in this particular instance, it may be some more, you know, maybe a little bit of a trading range. But pound New Zealand, I like to have multiple currencies. When I see the pattern or trade opportunities emerging on the same currency across, you know, Euro Kiwi, Pound Kiwi, that's an encouraging sign. I see it as confirmation of sorts. You know, when you see it on one currency with one pair and that same currency with another pair. So Pound Kiwi is also something on my watch list. I like to see that. To me, that gives me more faith that the analysis I have is legitimate. Okay, so that's all the euro pairs or all the euro crosses. Let's go to the pound. Pound Aussie. Yeah. Let's look at the weekly chart just to draw this, get an idea of how much we need. You know, maybe probably here. Oh, what happened? Why did it do that? But yeah, right around there. Let's go to the daily. And that's going back to 2010. On the daily chart, that's right around there. So we still have some ways to go. Nothing yet on Pound Aussie, Pound Canada, and that's going to be the same. Need to see more of a pullback, at least to here. So nothing yet there. Pound Swiss. I'm moving through these quickly because, you know, if it doesn't have, I need to see them. I want trading in the direction of the trend, so there needs to be a clear trend. And we are seeing that on most of the currency pairs. But within that trend, there needs to be a pullback. So if the market is just clearly going in one direction and there's no pullback going on, I can quickly go to the next pair. Pound Swiss. So this is, you know, an uptrend. We see pattern of higher lows, right? And the market's clearly moving up. It's above the moving averages. Moving averages are tilted up, sloping up. In terms of a pullback, you know, this one I don't really like Pound Swiss, the technicals of it too much, but maybe like here, you know, we'll see. Either way, it's too early to think about it, so need to start seeing some pullback. Pound Swiss, or Pound Yen, excuse me. Same idea, and this is going to be another one where you know, let's go to the weekly chart just to draw something. Yeah, and you really need a pullback. So, in a situation like this where the market just moves up and up and up for weeks on end, I really like to see the whole thing basically be given back. So, I would even really want to see it here. So that's 1,500 pips. And this may be an interesting, a really good short trade setting up if you're a counter trade and trend trader, which I'm not. But this is the kind of thing. At some point, I would like to expand my trading skill set to include counter trend trading. I'm not there yet. Still have more work to do on improving my trend trading. But I can see this as, in the back of my hand, I can see myself, really liking this type of a counter trend opportunity because there's no, we don't have much support. So I can quickly see this giving it all back, going back here, 1,500 from a purely technical perspective. Of course, I'm still bearish on the yen for fundamental reasons long term, but from a purely technical perspective, this seems like a trading opportunity that's worth, trying, or the very, very favorable reward risk. Although, like I mentioned, I'm only interested in trend opportunities, going with the trend this time. So I'm actually more interested with my current approach in buying at this level rather than selling here and using this as a target. So let's see what kind of pullback we get, if any, on pound yen. Definitely need that before I can put a trade. Pound kiwi we already looked at earlier. So what happened here? Oh, there we go. Okay. And we want to make sure we're looking at the daily chart. Yeah, so still waiting. We're getting closer, but it needs to fall about what's that? 60 pips. Oh no, 160 pips. 140. Sorry, I'm having trouble with math this morning. 140 pips, which on pound kiwi that can happen within a day. So let's see if we can follow this black line. Then there may be a trading opportunity. Okay, pound US dollar. Same thing. Daily chart. Really want to see it go somewhere around there. So we still have some more to work on. Oh, that's it with a pound. Let's go to US dollar pairs. Here's US dollar, Canadian dollar. Now we did see the euro, Canadian dollar, and Canadian Swiss has two trades we'll be placing. So I thought with interest there might be something on dollar CAD, but nope. And not really. This is a little too choppy, not enough of a pullback really to be of interest. Not that smooth. It's going a trend. It's pulling back that I like to see. USD JPY is the next one. Same. We're seeing this a lot with the yen pairs, where it's just it's pulling back, but I would like to see a much bigger pullback because there's no real support resistance level along the way. So let's see if we get a big pullback in the yen. It's going to take some patience. So probably nothing for a week, maybe longer. Dollar Singapore. This is also something clearly an uptrend. All this draw support level just out of interest. Keep it in mind. Right here. Oh. And I know I'm going through these charts quickly, but it gives you an idea. And this is, as you're seeing this, really, you do need to put in your chart time. So we have a lot of information, a lot of educational material on InformedTrades. But a lot of this is you just need to be able to look at the chart and quickly identify support and resistance. With this approach that I'm using, of course, there are indicator approach, but if you have in terms of pure price action, a lot of it is just, like anything else, you have to put in your hours of really being comfortable with spotting support and resistance levels. And then it can get to a point, I still spend half an hour doing these videos about each day, sometimes more. And possibly could do it less, but in terms of, you want to get to the point where you're in a bit of a flow and you can quickly identify the levels you're looking at and where you want to be at. So here, this level sticks out to me right away. We fell, we bounced here, and then so the market's clearly reacting to this level. Let's see on the flip side, if we pull back to this level, then I might be interested in going long, trading with the trend. But for now, nothing. Okay, so that's all dollar stuff. Let's check out. We looked at CAD Swiss already. Let's look at CAD Yen. Probably, okay, same situation where, it's been the yen has really lost value, and it's been falling quickly So now let's see if we get a pullback. Same situation we saw on all the other yen pairs. You know, if we can fall 130 pips, this could be interesting. But for now, nothing. So just waiting. Trading is largely largely a game of waiting. So you know, a lot of people approach it with a mentality they really want to trade. They're really excited about it. Patience. You know, you have. I was like that, and I'm still, unfortunately, when I make a mistake, I'm still like that a little bit. But of course, having a few losses will teach you that that's not necessarily the most productive way, and that patience, very valuable attribute. We have a lot of material in trading psychology. If you're struggling with patience, you may wish to check that out. Or even if you're not, trading psychology is very important. Okay, so that was the Canadian dollar pairs. Now, Australian dollar. Okay, Aussie, Canada. Okay, now we have, this is exactly, so for those, we have our our course on Wyckofffian support, supply and demand. You know, when we see a trading range, this is could be seen as an accumulation phase, to use that terminology. But basically, you know, lots of buyers going on here, and now we're rallying. So, but the trend is still downward. So I'd really much prefer to see, you know, I'm not really interested in doing anything until we're still in a bearish trend and price falls to, or rises to, excuse me, here. So if we're still, you know, if we can rise to this level in a reasonably short amount of time, the trend will still be bearish, and there may be some opportunities to short from here. But we'll see. For now, I'm not interested in doing anything on the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar pair. Aussie Swiss. Okay, getting closer. This reminds me a little bit of the Canadian Swiss pair that will be I'll be placing a trade on. But it seems like Canada Swiss is ready now. Aussie Swiss might be ready a little bit later. Let's see if we can pull back to this level. Okay. Aussie yen. This is the one. Excuse me. Whereas the yen has really fallen against everything else, Aussie yen has been, you know, this is not a range. We've just been in this choppy range. It's not a trend. We've been in this choppy range since, you know, you could argue it's really been going back to September of 2013. So just the past 3 months, basically, 4 months actually, in this range. So once it breaks out of that range, then it may be an interesting opportunity for a trend trader like myself, trend trader looking on the daily chart. Okay, Aussie Kiwi. Yeah, still need more of a pullback, so nothing really here. You know, might not need a pullback all the way to this level. That's the level that sticks out. We have a test here, test here, test here. But somewhere, you know, definitely more of a pullback than this. And if it starts pulling back more, we can draw Fibonacci. Actually, let's just draw it now. Fibonacci retracement. Let's go from here down to here. Okay, and actually, even with the Fibonacci analysis, that puts us, we have a confluence. I really like to see when the Fibonacci, when we get a 50 or 61.8 level, you know, when there's a support level with or resistance level within that range. So we have, you know, you can say we're in a key Fibonacci range. There's a support level there. Then it becomes interesting. You know, multiple signs there. And if the moving average can stay close by, then we have a third signal. You know, so we pull that price range, could really be an interesting opportunity. But for now, just more waiting. Okay. Aussie US dollar, nothing. You know, maybe this is the bottom, but let's see, where would I need to pull back to? At least to here, right? Oh, that didn't appear properly. At least to here, I would say, yeah. Because we have some interesting, you know, it looks like a little like resistance here. One bounce, two, bigger bounce. It did break through it eventually. But then again here, and then boom. We had the sellers come in and price really fell. So if it falls here, especially we have 50 moving average there right now, if that stays nearby, Aussie US dollar could be interesting short at that time. Okay, that's it for Aussie Australian dollar. And now Kiwi. Nothing here. Just need more of a pullback. This is clearly going in one direction. Kiwi Swiss. Okay. Now this is interesting. I still like the Euro Canada or Euro the Canada Swiss that we looked at earlier a little better. So I won't be using this opportunity instead. But let's see. Here is I'd really like to see more of a pullback to like right there. Because then we have that. This is where we have multiple, market clearly bounced off this level before. Here, 1, 2, 3, sort of. So if we can rise to, we're about 40 pips away, 30 pips. So close. Canada. This is also like Aussie Swiss. We're also a little bit away. I think Canada Swiss is ripe now. Aussie Swiss and Kiwi Swiss. So that's actually, if I'll put on the trade on Canada Swiss today. If that gets filled, and the trend goes to my favor, and I'm looking to pyramid, there may be opportunities to do it via Aussie Swiss and Kiwi Swiss. So this is something to bear in mind, definitely. But first, we'll start with Canada Swiss. Okay. Oh, I forgot to look at the end, but here's the US dollar, and not much. Okay, and yep, still need. We've seen this with a lot with the yen. It really fell a lot in value, going back to starting right around here. A clear uptrend for the other currency, downtrend for the yen from the yen perspective for the past 3 months, 2.5. So let's see if we got a pullback. I would expect a nice pullback, and then it could be a good opportunity to enter the trade again to short the yen. But first, we need to get those speculative yen bears wiped out. Okay, that's about it. To recap, I will be putting trades on Euro Canada and Canada Swiss. I'll have those trades, the details. Well, I discussed them in this video. You can rewind to the early parts of this video to check them out. I'll also be posting them with text and still images on my blog on InformedTrades. Any questions, anything you want to add, join us at InformedTrades.com. Thanks and best of luck in your trading.